The desert has a way of keeping secrets. The wind scours the cliffs, the sun bleaches the bones of forgotten things, and the silence is so deep it swallows centuries whole. But sometimes, just sometimes, the desert gives something back. Imagine this. The year is 1947, and a Bedouin shepherd is searching for a stray goat along the cliffs of Qumran, near the shores of the Dead Sea. The air is dry as parchment. The limestone cliffs burn white under the afternoon sun, and the wind carries nothing but the faint smell of salt from the lifeless waters below. The boy's path leads him to a small, dark opening in the rock, a cave mouth barely large enough for a man to crawl through. Curiosity wins over caution. He picks up a stone and tosses it inside, listening for the clatter. But instead of rock on rock, he hears the shattering of pottery. Inside that cave lay one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. Rolled-up manuscripts wrapped in linen, tucked inside clay jars, sealed away for nearly 2,000 years. These were the Dead Sea Scrolls, and they would ignite decades of scholarly debates, religious controversy, and whispered speculation about what they might reveal. When archaeologists began to unroll the first scrolls, they realized they were holding fragments of an ancient library, texts written in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, some familiar, others utterly unknown. The familiar ones? Copies of books from the Hebrew Bible, older by 1,000 years than any we had before. The unfamiliar? Hymns, rules, prophecies, and apocalyptic visions from a community whose identity we still puzzle over today. To understand the weight of this discovery, you have to picture the place they came from. Qumran is a desolate stretch of land where the Judean desert meets the Dead Sea. The cliffs are riddled with caves, each one a dark mouth into the earth. In the time of the scrolls, between roughly 250 BCE and 70 CE, this was the home, many believe, of a Jewish sect known as the Essenes. They were separatists, withdrawing from the world to live in purity and prepare for what they believed was the imminent end of days. The scrolls, more than 900 in total when fragments are pieced together, include every book of the Hebrew Bible except Esther. But they also contain works like the Community Rule, a strict code of conduct for the sect, the War Scroll, a detailed blueprint for a cosmic battle between the sons of light and the sons of darkness, and the Thanksgiving hymns, prayers that speak in a voice both haunting and defiant. For scholars, these scrolls were like a time machine, carrying them back to a critical turning point in history, the world of Second Temple Judaism, the environment in which both Rabbinic Judaism and early Christianity took shape. Here, in brittle parchment and cracked papyrus, was the evidence of how Scripture evolved, how prophecy was understood, how the faithful wrestled with questions of law, purity, and the promise of salvation. But alongside the scholarly fascination came something else: mystery. Who exactly wrote these texts? Were they the work of the Essenes, as many believe, or the library of a Jerusalem temple hidden away during the Roman siege? And why were they placed in these caves, sealed in jars? Was it to preserve them for future generations, or simply to hide them from destruction in a time of war? As excavations continued through the 1950s and 60s, more caves yielded more treasures. Some scrolls were found almost intact, their black ink still legible after 2 millennia. Others were nothing but fragments, requiring painstaking reconstruction. The task was monumental, and for decades, only a select group of scholars had access to the full cache, a secrecy that fueled rumors. Whispers began to circulate. Did the scrolls contain revelations that could challenge the foundations of Judaism or Christianity? Were there prophecies about a Messiah, perhaps even more than one? Could they rewrite what we thought we knew about the origins of these faiths? The truth is, some scrolls do speak of messianic figures. The Messianic Apocalypse hints at a leader who will heal the sick, raise the dead, and bring good news to the poor, language that sounds eerily familiar to anyone who's read the Gospels. The War Scroll describes an apocalyptic showdown that feels ripped from the pages of Revelation. And in some texts, there are hints of 2 messiahs, one priestly, one kingly. It's easy to see why such passages could stir the imagination and suspicion. For years, conspiracy theories flourished. Some claimed the Vatican was suppressing the scrolls to protect certain doctrines. Others imagined the scrolls as containing direct references to Jesus, hidden from public view. In reality, while no scroll explicitly names him, the world they describe, its tensions, its hopes, its apocalyptic fervor, is the very world in which he lived and preached. But perhaps the most haunting thing about the Dead Sea Scrolls is how personal some of them feel. Amid the grand prophecies and cosmic battles are intimate prayers, pleas for forgiveness, gratitude for survival, cries for deliverance from enemies. These voices, reaching across 2,000 years, are startlingly human. And the desert, in its strange mercy, preserved them. The dry heat, the sealed jars, the darkness of the caves, all combined to keep these fragile scraps of parchment from turning to dust. Think of it. Had that shepherd boy not thrown his stone, they might still be there, waiting. Or worse, they might have disintegrated entirely, their words lost forever. Theories about their origins still spark debate. The dominant view ties them to the Essenes, an ascetic group described by ancient historians like Josephus and Pliny the Elder. According to this view, Qumran was their spiritual center, and the scrolls were their sacred library. But some scholars see them instead as the remnants of Jerusalem's temple library, hidden in haste as Roman legions advanced during the First Jewish-Roman War. There's even a fringe theory that the scrolls are a collection from multiple communities, stored in the caves over generations, each jar holding the voices of a different sect or scribe. And then there are the unanswered questions about what's missing. For every scroll we have, how many more were destroyed by time, eaten by insects, or burned in the chaos of history? What might they have told us about the beliefs and politics of this turbulent era? Today, the Dead Sea Scrolls are divided among museums and research institutions. The largest collection is housed in the Shrine of the Book in Jerusalem, where the curved white roof mimics the lid of one of the ancient jars. Standing there, in the dim light, looking at those fragile lines of ink, it's impossible not to feel the weight of time pressing in. These are not just relics. They are survivors. The desert keeps many secrets, but in the case of the Dead Sea Scrolls, it has given us a rare gift, a window into a lost world, a chorus of voices from the edge of history, voices that speak of faith and fear, of cosmic destiny and everyday survival. Voices that remind us that across 2,000 years, the questions that matter most, about who we are, why we're here, and what waits beyond, remain unchanged. Thank you for joining me in this journey through the sands of time. What do you think? Were the Dead Sea Scrolls the work of an isolated sect, or the hidden treasure of a greater tradition? Could there still be undiscovered caves holding more secrets of the desert? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, please like, comment, and share. It truly helps keep these stories alive.